In Affinity 3.2, you can turn any image into a vector. I've just got an image here, and I can simply go up here to Vector and Image Trace. As soon as I select that, I can then turn it into a vector. That's what it is now. And then click Apply. However, there's also now with 3.2 a really powerful scripting feature. And the great thing about scripts is that not only can it do this sort of thing, turn it into a vector, it can also apply lots of other effects and things. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use this script. And then at the end of it, please check the description or probably one of my posts, because it's probably going to be a long script. You can then take that script and use it yourself if you want to do that. So let's just go through it. Now, everything in the script you can do manually. That's all the script does. It's just a script. It will use the features that are available. However, there is something that's quite an interesting feature in the scripts that does not appear to have an exact copy in the various menus. I'll show you a little bit later, but it's a real nice one, and I think I'm really quite surprised that Affinity have never added a feature to use this, because it's really powerful. So let's just go to the scripts. And the scripts are written using good old Claude down here. So if you haven't got Claude, please check out my video on how to set up Claude, how to integrate it with Affinity. It's really easy to do. And then you can simply bring these scripts in, just bring them in, obviously from the various text file that you can get from my description, and then just run with it. So let's just click it now. Image trace to curves V12. You can see it's been going through a few different versions, and it hasn't totally finished yet. I'm still going to add a few new features later. But at this point, just click it, and it pops up with this panel. And you can add all kinds of dialogues in Affinity now using this approach with scripts. Scripts are great. You can find scripts in Window and just down in General, and you can see their scripts. Obviously, when you've got the dialogue here active, you can't access it. However, you can see what you've got. You've got the standard edge threshold curve fitting. You've got exactly the same as you would have with the standard vector image trace. One thing to note with scripts, at this point, it doesn't appear that you can have a preview feature. Now, it's possible it could be done. I do not know how to actually get it to process that at this point. Please put in the comments below if you have created scripts that have a preview where you actually see the settings and then you can change them. Be great to know. I've got here a duplicate, original image and duplicate. The great thing about it makes a duplicate. You obviously could create a duplicate yourself, but this just does it within the dialogue. You think, oh, just create a duplicate below, so you can blend it using blend modes. Very useful. Also, I've got this drop down here. What it does, generates original colours. So let's just run this one. So I'm just going to go with what we've got here, original colours, and let's just add a quick bit of scaling so you can see that it does create something slightly different from what you would get normally. And original colours there, and click OK. And you can see it's processed, says trace, and then you can see the scaling has introduced a fairly interesting variation on the layout of that image, which you may or may not want. You might go for a very subtle scaling, say 0.05 difference from obviously 100% scaling, something like that. Now, undo transform, and undo image trace. It's a undoable event. However, because the way that the vector trace works, the way that it needs to know thing, it's a two-step undo. It can't be anything other than that, the way it's set up in the API. So again, let's just click it again. And you can see you've got other options here. So random colours. So instead of just the colours you've got, it randomises it. So let's just again run this, and I'm just going to run it without changing it under the settings. Click OK, and you can see then you get something that looks approximately like the original image, but with random colours. Let's do undo again, and again, click here. You see it does actually generate maybe more backgrounds than it necessary. You can always delete them again. Sometimes it seems to not always do it exactly right. It seems to not undo the background bit. That may be a thing to update in the script. So again, go here and image trace to curves. And you see I've got other ones as well. No fill. No fill just sounds a bit odd, but if you combine it with the stroke and setting up a random stroke, then you get very sketch-like drawings very quickly using different stroke widths. You can create some interesting designs. So again, no fill. And let's not go with random. I don't want that. I don't want random colours, but you could do random colours for the stroke as well. And let's go with between 0 and say 5. So that it will just generate there. Then just click that, click OK. And you can see now you get this. Now, because you've got the background there, and I'm just going to remove the backgrounds, let's just remove those, you get this. That's what you get from the vector trace. So you get a very interesting sketch-like design, and of course you can vary things, and also you can select all of these curves. They're just, all that creates lots of curves. So you can select them, you can change the various stroke profile, all those sort of things to create different sketch designs very quickly. Okay, let's just put those back and then undo. Oh no, it's going to undo it the other way. Okay, let's just put it all the way back to the image. So here's the background again. I think that, like I say, there's a bit of a bug there where it's generating more and more backgrounds. Vector, so instead of image trace, that's what I'm just going to go over here. Let's go on the script, not anything else. Image trace to curves again. And sometimes it doesn't always, when you click this, it doesn't always generate the dialog straight away. It does require sometimes 2 clicks, but it does generally pop up. Okay, also got make redder, make greener, make bluer, and also grayscale. The grayscale sort of works. Let's just click OK, and I'll just show you the grayscale response. And click, oh, this time it did. Sometimes I've noticed when I've run it in testing, it's generated some colours additional in there, but it doesn't seem to have done that this time. So you can quickly create grayscale. Now, of course, you could grayscale the image before you start in the first place. Will be another alternative from that one. So let's undo, back to the original image. Let's just again go image trace, click that again. And let's just, we've done all those, then go down here. Now, there's also an option here for no shape, but there's also circles, rectangles, diamond, also different stars. So let's just go with that. So star. And I'm going to go with original colour. So it will use the original colour and it will create stars instead of the polylines. And that's the feature that's unique, that I have not seen anything really corresponding in Affinity itself. Doesn't seem to be. Doesn't seem to be any feature for that. You can turn any curve into another shape, which is quite useful. I'm pretty surprised that they haven't added that as a feature in Affinity. Be really good. And I'm going to add a few more actually to it than the ones I've got here. I've thought of a few more since. So click OK. And again, click OK there. And now you can see what you get. You get stars. You've still got the original background image because, of course, I've duplicated that each time. As mentioned, it is generating more and more of these. Again, clearly the undo doesn't undo the duplicate. It must be slightly outside of that. That's another thing to fix at some point. So you've got this with stars, but it can also be circles. It can be all kinds of shapes, rectangles, anything, triangles. And probably any other shape that you can actually ask Affinity's Claude to create. Probably various ones like the cogwheel. I probably can do that as well. Okay, let's just undo that again. And now again, click here. And then you've got other options here. Rotation. So with this rotation, I can set it to subtle rotation. So -6. Oops, and 6. So it does it between -6 and 6. So it could be like 5, it could be 4, it could be -1. And then click OK. And again, it processes it, and then you get that. It's just all those curves are all rotated slightly. That's the point of that one. And again, undo. Again, click there and go with scale. And exactly the same sort of thing, 0.9, 1.1. Click OK. Click OK, and you can see get that. Undo again, then go with curves again. I always want to keep up to the vector one. Nope, it's not, doesn't need any change there. You can change it, but that's the default ones. They seem to work quite nicely with most images. If you're using a blurred image, it doesn't always work as well, so you might have to change the settings a bit. Then this one's quite a nice one. So you've got here opacity, and you can obviously set it between 20 and 100. That's the max, 100. Click OK. Click OK there. And now, doesn't look like much, but all of those various curves will have, if it's worked properly, oh, they're backgrounds. I'm going to the backgrounds, not that one. Well, that's what I wanted. Yes, you can see there, those. All the curves, 35, 6, so on, 20, 98, etc. You can see what it's done. It's thing. Then, of course, it combines in different ways with the underlying image. And now I'm using a duplicate. You don't have to use a duplicate. So let's just go up here and put that back there. Now, this background here, I can just go over here and maybe use a gradient. Let's just use a gradient. Just something very quick and easy. You could maybe use brush strokes. So applied now a background there. And that's what that's using. But it could be another gradient. It doesn't have to be that. Or it may be a shape. Let's just go for another shape here. I'm just going to quickly drag over here. And in this case, it's black there. Let's just go down here. Maybe just go down here. Or purple, it looks like. Green. And you can see then how it blends is different. Now, of course, another thing you can do is you can select here. This is the curves that have been created. You can always go here for blend mode, so darken, multiply, lighten, and you can see as you do that, you get different results. And again, if you don't have these that and that, this then depends on the underlying image. So you can see different saturation and so on. You can run through all the different blending modes to get different results again from this thing. So let's just delete that again. Let's not go undo it. I just don't need it because I've got lots of these additional backgrounds, which again, maybe needs to be changed. But let's just delete some. They're all the same image. It just keeps duplicating it. Click there again. And now the final one, just to quickly show, is horizontal shift, which doesn't seem much again, but -5, 5, just subtle differences. You don't have to make it massive. You might set 0, the other one to be 0 and 0. Therefore, there will be no shift in the vertical. Now, what I'm going to do is actually put -10 and 10. To be honest, I haven't tried it. If I put 10 and -10, it probably might go wrong. I don't know. But click OK. Click OK there, and you can see now it's just added a subtle, just a slight tweak. And again, you don't have to have the background. You can always remove the background, and you can see the result there. That's without the background. That's with the background. You can turn it on or off in the actual panel itself anyway. So you can get this result. But of course, once you've got this design, you can then, with that selected there, actually not just that, just select the polylines themselves. Don't select the background. If you select the polylines, all the polylines. Now, unfortunately, you're talking like 5,000 polylines. There's a lot of polylines. It might occasionally take a few seconds to process it, depending on your machine. Click Effects. So you can click there, go for 3D, and then you can see as you do that, go for radius, and you can also set for outer shadow, etc. It's quite an interesting sort of three-dimensional sort of designs very quickly that way. And you can see then you get this combination again, which you can then run through and use different blending modes as well. Literally thousands of possible things with this script, and it's called the Image Traced Curves. I will be putting a copy up either in the description below, though it may, like the other ones, I will put it into a post, because the post gives it a more opportunity to put a longer script, where sometimes the description just runs out, unfortunately, of the number of characters that I can use in the description. So it just doesn't always work. But you can see the sort of things you can do with the image trace. And with, of course, if you've got other scripts, there's other things like layer transforms. So in this case, everything that's selected, if I click this one, and I've got also a video about this one, as well as the script for it. So you can download that as well if you want to use that. Simply click there and it comes up with a load of options. And obviously in this case, it's got a lot to function there for origins, scaling, opacity, flips, scaling, etc. So these scripts you can use to create countless designs very quickly in Affinity. Well, how to actually load it, import it? Well, unfortunately, the scripts itself, this panel here, has only a little bit of functionality. You can go here and you can right click, you can rename script and delete a script. That's all. That's all you can do with this. However, if you've got Claude integrated, you can just click there. Now, I hope at some point that Affinity 3.3, and you can see not now, I've run out of messages until 6:40, so I cannot add any more features until then. But I will be adding more. I'm doing it all in projects, so I would suggest create a project in Claude. So all you need to do, new project, create a new project, and you can see this one here, image trace, and that's what I've used. So click there, again, always comes up with this panel, and click there, and again, it'll come up with that panel. That's if you run out of your minutes, out of 3 messages. And you can see, as I've been going through it, all the various things, sets all the various things up. Now, it saves the script to Affinity. All you need to do is just put the message in, say, please put this as a script. Put this one, store it away as a script. I'm certain Claude will be very happy to do that. It will save it as a script. I haven't tried that yet, but I'm certain it will do it. It is very, very useful. It's a very powerful feature, Claude with Affinity, and really worth checking out if you have not checked it out yet. I say you're out of 3 messages. It does give you about 5 or 10 minutes of time just to work through things. Varies at times. Sometimes I've worked with it for quite a while before it suddenly decides, you know what, you're out of thing. Normally at a point when you are just getting to the point of where it gets interesting. It always stops then. And then after I finish, it says, you know, come back in 5 hours time or something. I just always say, please continue. And then it normally finishes off what it was trying to do beforehand. It will just process it and you will then get your script added to Affinity, which you can then apply and apply and apply, which is like macros, like the library feature in Affinity, super powerful, super useful. And there is a lot of functionality in the API. Lots and lots of things. As mentioned, that wonderful thing where it converts any curve into another curve, which is quite useful. I mean, I think that's just an absolutely brilliant feature. I do not know why they haven't added that in. It will be absolutely useful as a standard feature. Select any curves and just turn them into, say, a selected star or selected rectangle or something. Be brilliant. Have seen other applications that do that. Don't know why Affinity has not added that in at this point. Check out this video on Resolve 21. You can now use it with Affinity to create some amazing results in the new photo feature in Resolve.